Jay Leno's passion for cars is matched only by his love of motorcycles, and that's obvious from how fondly he talks about the bikes featured on his show, many of which belong to his own enormous collection. In fact, the very first new vehicle Jay ever bought was a Honda CBX. Here are 10 rare, vintage motorcycles from Leno's Garage that we'd love to take for a spin. They aren't the fastest or the safest machines out there, but each one carries serious historical weight.
Number 10. 1929 Scott Flying Squirrel. Among the oldest bikes in Leno's collection is a 1929 Scott Flying Squirrel, a tribute to the model that carried Alfred Angus Scott to victory on the Isle of Man. Even though it was built as a racer and has no lights, which most road-legal bikes require, Leno managed to get it registered with a California plate so he can legally take it out on public streets. That alone says a lot about how well this nearly century-old machine still holds up. Under the hood, it runs a water-cooled, two-stroke twin-cylinder engine displacing 596 cc, about 36 to 37 cubic inches, paired with a 3-speed gearbox and putting out 28 horsepower. Despite its age, it's capable of hitting 75 miles per hour, which is pretty impressive even by modern standards.
Number 9. 1922 Magola Touring. The 1922 Magola Touring is a genuine rarity from 1920s Germany, with only around 2,000 ever built. That scarcity alone has made it something of a legend among vintage motorcycle collectors. Production didn't last long, cut short by the economic turmoil of the era, including runaway inflation, meaning a surviving, restorable example today is a real find. What makes the Magola Touring stand apart from other bikes of its time is its layout. It runs on a 5-cylinder radial engine, an oddity even now, and a signature feature of the Magola brand, distinct from the rotary engine used in its racing sibling. Riding one comes with its quirks too. The engine needs gasoline hand-pumped directly into the cylinders periodically. Even so, the touring model carries a certain elegance, most notable in its plush touring seat, built with long-distance rides in mind. Performance-wise, it makes 14 horsepower from a 640cc radial engine, and it skips a conventional transmission and neutral gear altogether, reflecting the mechanical philosophy of its era. Collectors, Jay Leno among them, value the Magola Touring for its rarity and inventive engineering, a reminder of a period when motorcycle design was still very much an experiment.
Number 8. 1930 Opel Moto Club. The 1930 Opel Moto Club is instantly recognizable thanks to its unusual red tires, a detail that even caught Jay Leno off guard the first time he came across one. Opel, now known mainly for its cars, briefly built motorcycles before shifting its focus entirely to automobiles. Nicknamed the Silver Redbird, the Moto Club featured a sturdy single-cylinder engine, making 16 horsepower and up to 22 in some versions, with a 500cc displacement and a 3-speed gearbox that could push it to about 65 miles per hour. Opel only made the Moto Club from 1928 to 1930, and out of roughly 1,500 units produced, restorers and collectors estimate only about a dozen survive today, making each remaining example an exceptionally rare piece of history. It stands as a snapshot of a moment when Opel was still testing the waters beyond car manufacturing.
Number 7. 1955 Vincent Black Prince. Introduced in 1955, the Vincent Black Prince took a different approach than its more famous sibling, the Black Shadow, prioritizing comfort and refinement over raw speed. It rode so smoothly that a rider could show up in a full suit and tie and still look put together, a nod to just how well engineered it was. Even so, the Black Prince couldn't escape a changing market. As small, affordable cars like the Mini rose in popularity, buyers increasingly favored practicality over high-end motorcycles, especially since the Black Prince actually cost more than many cars at the time. Mechanically, it shared its engine with the Black Shadow, a 4-stroke 50-degree overhead valve V-twin displacing 998 cc, producing 55 horsepower through a 4-speed gearbox, and capable of a claimed 120 miles per hour top speed. What set the Black Prince apart visually was its aerodynamic bodywork, which earned it the nickname the two-wheeled Bentley. Despite its sophistication, shifting consumer tastes eventually pushed it out of production, leaving behind a short but memorable run defined by luxury and engineering ambition.
Number 6. The 1966 Munch Mammoth. So, in 1966, a German tuner named Friedel Munch unveiled the Munch Mammoth. It was a bike that really turned heads for its brute strength. What made it so unusual was the engine choice.
Munch actually fitted it with a 4-cylinder car engine pulled from the NSU 996. It was air-cooled, displacing 996 cc's and good for about 55 horsepower. With a top speed of 115 miles per hour, it was easily one of the fastest production bikes of its day. Now, what really distinguished the Mammoth wasn't just the speed, but the engineering behind it. The frame and the components were built specifically to handle the weight and power of that car-derived engine. At 480 pounds, it was heavy, yet it was still considered dependable. That was no small feat, honestly, given how unconventional the power plant was. By 1968, Munch had gone even further, upgrading to a larger 1,177cc NSU TTS engine. This actually required reinforcing the rear wheel just to handle the added torque. All that innovation came at a price, quite literally. The Mammoth was expensive, but it still found an audience among riders who valued speed, power, and the prestige of owning something so mechanically ambitious.
Number 5. The 1951 Egley Vincent by Patrick Godet. Patrick Godet took a 1951 Vincent Black Shadow and turned it into a striking cafe racer known as the Egley Vincent. Rooted in Black Shadow heritage, the bike has earned praise from enthusiasts and collectors alike. Jay Leno himself has even called it one of the best-looking cafe racers ever built. Its foundation traces back to Fritz Egley, a Swiss racer known for his chassis expertise, who originally strengthened the frame design. Godet then took things a bit further, fitting a larger engine and upgrading the brakes, while preserving the nostalgic character Vincent fans love. At its core sits an air-cooled twin-cylinder engine set at a 50-degree V angle. It displaces 1,300 cc and produces 100 horsepower, paired with a 5-speed gearbox and a dry multi-plate clutch for smooth power delivery. Godet's design work blends classic style with modern engineering, resulting in a cafe racer that performs as well as it looks. It's sleek, detailed, and built with real reverence for the Vincent name.
Number 4. 1971 Velocette Thruxton. Leno picked up a 1971 Velocette Thruxton, a meaningful acquisition since it came from one of the last batches of roughly 50 motorcycles the storied British manufacturer built before shutting down in the early 1970s. The Thruxton earned its reputation on the racetrack, known for reliability and strong performance, despite, or maybe because of, its single-cylinder 499cc engine. It wasn't cheap, given its specialized build, but it backed up the price with results. Leno notes it still holds a class endurance record for sustaining 100 miles per hour continuously over 24 hours. Mechanically, it's air-cooled with a single overhead camshaft, making around 41 horsepower, remarkable output for a single-cylinder engine of that size. Power runs through a 4-speed gearbox with a right-foot shifter, and a 3-plate dry clutch handles the demands of racing. Alongside the Velocette Venom, the Thruxton helped cement Velocette's place in British motorcycling history, standing out specifically for its racing pedigree.
Number 3. 1974 Norton John Players Special. Before he ever appeared on The Tonight Show, Jay Leno scraped together $3,000 to buy a brand new 1974 Norton John Players Special. It was a stretch financially, but Leno was confident it was worth it. The bike turned heads wherever it went, thanks to its bold styling and strong performance. Notably, models built before September 1974 had the rear brake pedal on the left and the gear shifter on the right, a layout later reversed to match US standards. The 1975 Norton 850 John Player Special ran an air-cooled 4-stroke parallel twin with pushrods and 2 valves per cylinder, displacing 828 cc and making 50 horsepower in the standard version or 60 in the R model, paired with a 4-speed gearbox. For Leno, the appeal went beyond mechanics. The bike's striking looks and solid performance made it a standout in its day, and it's since become a symbol of a distinctive era in motorcycle design.
Number 2.
1975 Suzuki RE5. The 1975 Suzuki RE5 is remembered as much for its oddball engineering as anything else, drawing both admiration and confusion over the years. Leno himself has praised how smooth it rides, and at first glance it looks like a typical cafe racer of its era, but the real innovation is under the surface. What sets the RE5 apart is its compact 498cc Wankel rotary engine, a bold, unconventional choice at a time when nearly every other motorcycle used pistons. It produced 62 horsepower and 55 pound-feet of torque, competitive figures for the time, delivering a ride that felt genuinely different thanks to the rotary design. Still, the RE5 struggled commercially. American riders largely viewed rotary engines as unfamiliar and unproven, and concerns about reliability and upkeep kept many buyers away. The engine's distinctive drone didn't help either. Some riders loved the novelty, while others found it simply strange.
1918 Pope motorcycle. Leno's top pick is a 1918 Pope motorcycle, a genuine relic that stands out for features rarely seen even among its contemporaries. Unlike most bikes of its era, which typically ran belt drives, the Pope used a chain drive, an advanced choice for its time. One especially unusual detail is its braking system. To stop, riders had to fully depress a foot-operated clutch on the left side, a far cry from the separate brake levers and pedals found on modern bikes, and a good reminder of how far motorcycle design has come. Power came from a 4-stroke V-twin engine displacing 998 cc, paired with a 3-speed gearbox, and, unusually for the period, a chain-driven rear wheel instead of a belt or shaft. It could reach a top speed of 65.2 miles per hour. Modest today, but genuinely thrilling for riders back in 1918.
Jay Leno's Garage is a goldmine of rare motorcycles, each one carrying its own story and design history that still fascinates enthusiasts today. Which of these bikes surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive automotive content.